So I want to talk about Super Dragon Ball Heroes and Dragon Ball Super and what the future of the franchise is as of today. Now I'm recording this video on July 23rd, 2018, and it's scheduled to go up on July 24th, 2018, so most of you are going to be watching after the 24th or on the 24th. And it's funny because I record this video, and as I'm recording it, Rhymestyle over on his channel uploads a video saying Super Dragon Ball Heroes coming to North America with a question mark. So I guess we both had kind of the same idea. But the difference is that this video is not just going to be about Super Dragon Ball Heroes. It's going to be about Dragon Ball Super and what the future of the franchise is as of today. Now, one thing that Dino said in his video that I'm going to say and that we've all kind of said is that this whole thing is completely, unpredictable. In his video, he talked about how we never thought Broly would come back or there'd be an evil Goku, and that's all true. Like, it seems so far-fetched, but yet it happened. Now, the story of Dragon Ball Heroes, I'm going to talk about that first before we talk about Dragon Ball Super. The story of Dragon Ball Heroes has always been that it is a game, and if you're wondering what Dragon Ball Heroes is, if you're new to the channel, I did a whole 30-minute video with Devil's Corpse Redux about Dragon Ball Heroes, so check that video out. I'm going to leave a link to it at the end of this one, so that way we can kind of get into the whole backstory of the creation of the game. But essentially, it's an arcade game that combines characters from all different Dragon Ball continuities, movies, manga, anime, video games, into one big kind of fun arcade, RPG type of game with its own custom storylines. I have never played the game before, but I've talked to people who have played the game. 2 or 3 of my friends have played it. Some of them are content creators, and they think it's really, really fun. And the story has been since 2010 or whatever, I think 2010, that Dragon Ball Heroes is never going to leave Japan. Bandai of Japan insists that Dragon Ball Heroes never leave Japan ever. That's been the case now for 8 years. Now, if you're wondering why that's the case, I don't know. I've tried to find out. I've had people ask. I don't know why, but for some reason, Bandai of Japan is very much coveting Dragon Ball Heroes and doesn't want the game to come to the United States or to Mexico or Europe or any of those places, just Japan. It's something that they really covet. Well, recently there have been some very interesting things going on when it comes to the Japanese office in comparison to the North American offices at Toei. Now, not all of the information that I have am I allowed to reveal, nor have I been able to triple source it. So even if I was allowed to reveal it, I would still not feel 100% comfortable revealing it because I haven't been able to triple source it. But double source, yes. Triple source, no. But essentially, there is talk now that Dragon Ball Heroes may come. And really, the whole Dragon Ball tour that they're doing across 7 locations in the United States is kind of a beta test. It's a test run to see how people see the game, enjoy the game, and if there's a market for the game. Now, obviously, they're not going to really know for sure until they actually put the game out. But the thing about Dragon Ball Heroes is that Dragon Ball Heroes is not just an arcade game. There's also a lot of other versions of the game that have been released. Like, there's a 3DS version. There's actually several 3DS Dragon Ball Heroes games that have never come out here. And to me, I'll be honest with you guys, that's kind of silly. Because to translate a freaking Japanese game and to put it out in English is one of the easiest things. I mean, there's fans who do it in like months. Fans have fan translations of Japanese RPGs, and they've been doing it for years, that get put out in months. So for a company not to be able to do it in weeks, or maybe even a couple of months, is just absurd. But they don't even want the 3DS games to come out, which to me, the 3DS games are not quite the same experience as the arcade, but they're still important games, I feel. So that being said, and by the way, if you're wondering how this ties into Super, I will tell you here in a minute. I'm kind of telling you the whole story here. That being said, they're putting the game out in English so people can try it out in the Dragon Ball Tour, and then if it does do well, they'll probably bring some more stuff over here, and then maybe after that, it'll go international to, other countries like France, Germany, Latin America, Mexico, all that stuff. Now, it's crazy because Dragon Ball Heroes, they are so, insistent that Heroes not leave Japan that they have blocked you from being able to watch the Japanese Bandai Heroes YouTube channel unless you have NordVPN, which I will leave a link on how you can get NordVPN at a discount so you can use a VPN to watch it. But that's not all. Also, if you play Dragon Ball Dokkan Battle, there are cards in the Japanese version of Dokkan Battle that are Heroes exclusive characters, and Heroes exclusive transformations and stuff like that that never came over to global. Instead, they made new cards for the global version. It's almost like some kind of weird cover-up where they don't want the world to know that they have this Dragon Ball Heroes thing in Japan, which again is ridiculous because the internet tells us everything. We can't play the game without going to Japan, but we can certainly see clips of the game. We can read up on the game. So you're not going to be able to hide its existence. And I think now Bandai of Japan is realizing this, and they are thinking about bringing the game over. That's good news. Now, when it comes to Dragon Ball Super, all right, this is the information I have right now. As far as we know, the future of Dragon Ball Super, and I've said this before, but it was reaffirmed to me last week, that the future of Dragon Ball Super will be entirely dependent on how this film is received, the Dragon Ball Super Broly movie. Now, Toei of Japan and Toei of America, Funimation, every company involved in Dragon Ball all over the world is going to do their best to make this movie a huge success. That's why it's coming out in Japan in December, and then a month later, January, it's coming out in North America and also Latin America. They're getting their dub in January too. So a lot of the major markets for Dragon Ball are going to be getting their dubs right away, a month. Think about what I just told you, a month. Okay, Resurrection F was 5 months. Battle of Gods was a year and a half. Wrath of the Dragon was 11 years, folks. That's how long it took before we got our dub. Now, they're putting it out, dubbed, a month after it comes out in Japan, and that's absolutely nuts. And the only reason as to why it did not come out in December here is because of the Christmas holiday. That's legitimately from what I understand is going on. That's the reason why it did not come out. They didn't want to compete with whatever big movies are going to be coming out in December, which I have to look into because I'm not really sure. I think Aquaman comes out in December. I think that's the big one. But either way, January is usually the month where you have the Oscar bait movies, and usually cult movies come out in January. But Dragon Ball Super Broly will be out then. And essentially, if this movie flops, what's going to end up happening is Dragon Ball Super will probably not return to TV, and as a result of that, Dragon Ball Heroes, the promotional anime, will kind of be all we have. Like, that's going to be it. That's pretty much all we have. Now, obviously, things can change. They've changed 100 times for months now. I'm under the understanding that the Dragon Ball Super manga will probably continue on even without the anime. And also the manga will probably be adapting the movie. That's something I figured out too. And there will always be new Dragon Ball video games coming out. That's always going to happen. Nothing will stop that. But as far as the TV anime coming back, it's going to be dependent on how this movie does. And even if the movie's a big success, it does not entirely guarantee the anime will come back, but the chances are very, very high that it will. The way that things are structured right now is essentially Toriyama Sensei has final say. So whatever Toriyama says goes. If Toriyama says no more Dragon Ball, there will not be any more Dragon Ball. If Toriyama says, okay, go on without me, they can go on without him. See what I'm saying? That's what's going on. But again, if they do go on without him, it might turn into another one of those GT situations. But I still think that no matter what, Toriyama and Bird Studios will retain control of the character. So even if they do decide to tell stories without Toriyama, I still think that he would be somebody who would be involved in at least supervising and giving his opinion. They're still going to ask him probably his thoughts because he created the universe, so he's essentially the one that has to say, yes, that's okay, or no, that's not okay. So what may end up happening is, if the movie's a success, which I do believe it will be, I'm expecting this movie to break all records of previous Dragon Ball movies. This movie's going to shatter every record that Dragon Ball has ever set. Resurrection F, Battle of Gods, your history. This is going to beat all that. What might end up happening is Super may come back next year, probably around July. I originally said April. Now I'm thinking more likely July. However, we may have an announcement of the film in April. Of the series coming back in April. We'll see. But if Super does come back, we may have a situation where we have Dragon Ball Super on TV, and we also have the Dragon Ball Heroes promotional anime every couple of months at the conventions. That could be the case, or the Dragon Ball Heroes anime will wrap up, and then we'll move on from there. I actually hope we get both, because I like the fact that you have two different storylines. You've got the Heroes kind of wacky, throw cannon out the window type story. Then you've got Super, which is, the story. I like that. It's fun to kind of have two different things. But if Heroes does expand across the world, this is a big deal, guys. Trust me on this one. This is a big deal. Trust me, this is a big deal, because what this means is that the Japanese offices are opening up the doors for other countries to kind of feast with them on all this content, and that was not the case for years, folks. I'm telling you. Toei of Japan, a lot of them had no idea what was going on, didn't even know how big Dragon Ball was over here, and now we're getting dubs like 3 weeks or a month after, it comes out in Japan, which is crazy. I would have never believed it. So that's pretty much what I have for you in this video. Again, to recap, the Dragon Ball Super Broly movie will determine the future of Dragon Ball Super. If Super does come back, it probably will be called Dragon Ball Super. I've heard people come up with other names. I don't think that's going to be the case. I think they're going to keep the Super brand. But either way, Super will continue one way or another. It's just, will it be movies? Will it be TV show? Probably TV show if the movie does really well. But again, that remains to be seen. That's my update as of July 23rd, 2018, or the week of July 23rd, 2018. Thanks for checking out the video, and remember, if Heroes does come out, try it, because I've never played it before, but I want to try it real bad because it looks freaking fun. Anyways, that's it. I'll talk to y'all soon.